Here's a question I ask so many designers, Gina. How do you frame instructional design around students' abilities to learn?
That's a great question, Michael, and thank you for asking. And to reframe, I would say, how do we design learning environments and learning experiences that are supportive of where students are now in their learning?
Mhm.
We know that students are experiencing the pandemic learning gaps. We know that students are experiencing a great deal of trauma and stress and crisis. We know mental health has come to the forefront in terms of how we're approaching what we do with design. And we also are very strongly integrating systemic oppression, the awareness of that, into what we do. And it gets really complicated. But then we think, step back and we think we can make this fairly simple if we look at how the mind works and the steps we take in learning. And one of the things that we can focus on is that stability is at the root of learning. That means that students have to have a basis of consistent knowledge and skills in order to get to the next step of learning new knowledge and new skills. Stability then for us is giving students structure, giving them consistency, being very transparent about our expectations, and giving students feedback that pulls them back into the correct answers, the appropriate answers, the answers that are going to connect them to their next step, to the information we want. That means we offer, say, quizzes, 5-point quizzes every week that have the same structure of 3 questions, even if the information is different. It
Mhm.
means we provide in discussion prompts that include the same type of phrasing at the beginning and the end, the same kinds of instructions for responses, and it's the content that differs. It's the content where we're letting them deepen themselves and we're pushing for that. That's one of the first pieces of advice I would give to an instructional designer. Another is that it's important to understand that despite all the research that tells us we learn in the same way, that there are no actual learning styles,
Mhm.
our circumstances externally and internally of mental health, our experiences of systemic oppression and which side of privilege we may be on or straddling, and the learning that we haven't managed to achieve to this point are going to differentiate how our students learn. And that means we are going to want to create assignments where students can do a basic answer that meets standards and we can work with them, but we also have room for them to expand. Maybe they write extra information or extra responses for their peers, or perhaps we give them an opportunity for extra credit to be more curious and indulge that curiosity and reward them for that. Then we're also coming back to the students who need the smaller assignment and need that affirmation that they're doing it right before they progress to the next step.